Any piece or composer you would like to talk about?
Well, there's many things to say, but obviously I just released like some Weber lately, and so I feel like first of all like it's always been like a music that I just liked like so much, and I just feel like close to it. But it's funny because I did a competition a few years ago now, Ghent competition, and I had to play Weber for the semi-final of the quintet and the second concerto for the finals. So I worked on it pretty much before, and then I played it during the competition. And at the end of the competition, I was like, okay, like you've been doing all of this work on this composer, but I didn't feel like there's like a version that had everything that I actually liked. There's no dreamy version for me, and there's like many really great ones that I really enjoyed for different reasons, but I wanted to say something a bit more personal about it. And I found it was really interesting when you start to work about like music of a composer, to really dive into that composer language, because it's only like language of a single person. And so if you consider now like the time of the preparation of the competition and then afterwards and stuff, I've been playing this music for pretty long, but now I feel like really close to this person. I feel like I know him a little bit. And the funny thing about Weber is that everyone knows about this really amazing romantic composer, like the singing guy, and Freischütz and Oberon and like Sylvanas, and all of these operas are like extremely, they're extremely beautiful, and like we know also the relationship with Berman. And I feel at some point as clarinet players, we are a bit sportive players. So we enjoy so much because it's so well written for the clarinet. He really got something, like he cracked the code of the clarinet in terms of like, all of these endings, and or like it's so much in the hands. It's so much, it's so playful and so joyful to play. The thing is, I think somehow we tend to have a really like sportive aspect to that music. And it's great. I mean, for technical aspects, it's amazing. For practicing, it's amazing and stuff. But the thing is, also Berman had this really strong mind about like, we need to add like, like always adding stuff. And it goes sometimes a bit against the lyrical Weber that we know. And we say, yeah, it's lyrical. So now when you can hear Weber, sometimes you have like the lyrical stuff and the technical stuff, and like you switch from mode to mode. You have like lyrical mode, and then now it's time to just staccato a lot and to go fast and stuff like that. And I feel it's breaking a bit the speech of the music, because technique is just a tool. It's just a tool to express something more intense, or like whatever, but it's a tool. It's just like, why did he put more notes? It's not to, obviously we know that it's a concerto and it shows also like the greatness of the player. But first of all, every clarinet players, we like to practice on that, but like actually we know it's not that difficult. Like it is tricky, but like anyone can play, and like anyone who's like practicing and who makes techniques every day and stuff like that, at some point will be able to play Weber, because the music is so rich and so good, but so well written. When for me, achieving like a Nielsen concerto, for example, this is like an achievement that I'm like, yeah, we can say like this is like not for anyone, and I'm like, what can I say, like, if you hear like amazing guys playing Nielsen, I'm like, yeah, this is or Dialogue de l'ombre double, for example. Like this is a piece, like I have never played it actually, Dialogue, and I'm like, okay, if you want to do it one day, like that's gonna be like the biggest challenge you can actually achieve. Weber is different, but Weber, like, it's an opportunity. Like like all of this like technical stuff is an opportunity to understand the lyrical underneath, and to actually like it's like a variation, you know, it's like a variation, but showing even more of the phrase. And so I try to organize like the recording about that actually a lot. You know, it's funny because we've been playing again like the quintets lately, and there's like in the first movement of the quintet you have like yam, which like the first time is pretty much like light, sol do si re do mi re fa mi sa fa la si mi do si re fa la sol don da 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 dom, and this is very light, very playful, very joyful. And the second time when it comes at the re-exposition with a mi bemol, a bit higher. The funny thing is like this gets after all of the development of the first movement, and it's so intense, and then it's the moment where like intensity is at the biggest, you know. But the funny thing is that the actual intensity comes from like ba-dum, 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 with the viola, ba-dum, 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 and with the fugato and the strings and stuff like that, and the clarinet is just like a embellishment of that really like intense singing of the viola. But if you start to play too loud the clarinet, or like you don't let space, I'm not saying you have to play piano or stuff, and obviously it's forte and stuff, but if you play, for example, this like taking too much space, then you miss out completely the ending of the movement. And obviously like it's difficult, you know, like it's a really shitty place for the clarinet. This one is mi bemol majeur, mi re fa mi sa fa la sol si la do si sa mi re. It's a bit annoying, and you've been practicing so good, so we want to hear also that you practiced, and we will hear it, but like don't show it actually. Like be more elegant than that. Like, you know, be like a Michelin star chef. You cook something amazing and then you bring it to your guest, but you won't say that, oh, this was so hard to do, and this, like, you know, like just be, oh, you know, this was, oh, for me it's a piece of cake, you know, like just like a few ingredients, but like even if you struggled, don't say it, you know, like yeah, because this is not the time to say it, you know. But then if you do like yeah, this is a moment to show actually your skills, and everyone will be like, oh my god, he plays so good, and oh wow, you know, but not every time. So yeah, that's a really specific point of view I have on this music. You know, like in the first concerto, first movement, you have you have all of this singing, and this obviously everyone is like and opera singer, as they should. But a bit later on that phrase, you have like the theme that comes back, but like a re-exposition, and then you have the technical part that comes. Which is what we know. But the funny thing is like I think first time is the bassoon, and then there's a flute, and then there's oboe, and all of the instruments from the orchestra are coming and playing it, you know. And it's scaling up on the intensity to actually like of the clarinet and like the big finale. But if you play too much like, you know, out, you completely miss out actually the speech of the orchestra. And even in the orchestra, it's important to be like, okay, but what's the use of each part? And how do we build the interpretation? Like, what do you think? What do you believe? And look at the score and try to listen and check on the other ones, as you do in the orchestra when also you're playing as a section, you know. But like sometimes it feels like, yeah, we had the urge, you know, and I get that, and it's normal, and it's great, to you know, like to play all of the stuff, and to be happy to play the clarinet, and to be happy to play fast, and to be happy to be a bit like exuberant. But I feel like with Weber especially, like there's a time for doing it. So and no, I mean, like it's just the thing is, the reason for playing this is because you have something to sing. That's the only thing. And like and to find a new way to be like the new Pavarotti, you know, like like this phrase is like the nicest of, you know, like you can expect to play something nicer. And like I love so much this music, especially for this kind of moments. And every time you will play it, you have something different to say. And for example, for me, one of my big struggle in this one is like I don't know what to breathe because I feel like so unnatural to breathe like and so then also feels a bit, you know, like it breaks. And so at the end I just figured out of just not breathing, like and also like you suffer, but you suffer for like lyrical. And for to me this is also like a very highly technical aspect. For example, like how do you manage your breathing? How do you manage to not breathe because you have like an amazing musical reason to not breathe? And for example, this stuff we tend to forget, or we tend to be like, whatever, I'm gonna breathe, you know. And I'm like, no, but like, be musician. Don't be only technician. Like, try to, you know. And actually, like, no one cares about. No, I'm not saying no one cares, but like, I feel like we shouldn't care so much about like a finger that just ripped, you know, like plop. You know, and of course it has to be clean. And of course I realized that just before when I played like I didn't practice on like, you know, like but we don't mind. I mean it's important on concerts to be on point and stuff like that, but the most important is like, okay, but like what's your engagement, you know? What do you believe? What's your music? Because you hear amazing players. They used to really screw a lot in concerts, but the engagement of these people were like insane. And listen, Rubinstein, Oistrakh, and all of these people, like they are like crazy about the music they were making. And at some point, like they were over focused, and they were screwing things. But I feel like we shouldn't be too much. Thinking about the technical aspects. That's my.
But that could be a very interesting. I mean, that would be another topic, not for this interview, but maybe in another moment we could talk. But it's also like how the society has evolved into this technical perfection. Orchestras, auditions.
I mean, obviously, when you have an orchestra audition and everyone, like you're 120 clarinet players playing Beethoven 6. If you make like even the slightest thing, then the problem is like it doesn't matter much, but like you're gonna have someone that doesn't, you know. But I have to say, now being in the path of the orchestra in Luxembourg, I feel more and more you feel the general level of someone, you know, and at least in Luxembourg I try to be, and I think my colleagues also, we are really like easygoing. If you feel like someone amazing that makes just a single mistake, because there's no moment in your life where you have to play Daphnis and Chloe, Scheherazade, Tchaikovsky, you know, like all of these things on the same day. And obviously you have to be good. Obviously you have to know really what the repertoire and to not screw the music that you're playing. But also if you just think of, you know, I mean, like, we hear if someone is good, you know, and if it's just like just a single mistake, but like most important is like what brings this person, you know, like if this person is really like shiny musician and like you're like, I want to play with this person, you know, and sometimes maybe there's gonna be something, and that's life, and everyone's crude in concerts. But like you have some musicians, you'll feel like, wow, such a great musicianship, you know. And this is usually like in final rounds. Maybe first and second round, I'd say still, yeah, it has to be quite perfect. But in the final round of the audition, you know, it's like try to make the path of the orchestra feel like they need to take you because they want to play with you. You're not gonna win the audition like you win like Olympic Games. You're gonna win because the players of the orchestra, they want to play the music with you, and it's not like showing them that you're the strongest that usually makes the choice. It's like showing them that you're the nicest to play with,
very interesting.
I don't know, like this is, but it's also like when you see from, it's like the great luck of being on the other side. So then you see, you know, like you have this kind of not overview, but when you have to actually think about like who's going to be your next colleague, then you kind of chill a bit about auditions. Even though I'm sure, like if I had to make a new audition today, I would be also, you know, like not scared, but like cautious about everything, and you know, like, and it's always super hard, and like the investment that it asks for any candidates to make an orchestra audition is like insane, but at the end, the colleagues, like the people from the orchestra, they just want to find a new nice colleague, someone nice who plays good with them and who wants to join the group, you know, and they don't want to find the like you don't have to be you know, like a machine gun of notes, you know. Yeah,
yes, it's true. At the end, you are gonna spend many years sitting next to a person, and you are gonna make music with a person. So it is important. Yeah.
And obviously you're like focus, but like I wouldn't say you have to smile, but you have to, you know, like to be open, because like you have to give, like the vibe has to be the right one.
What is your setup? Please tell us everything. Your mouthpieces, reeds, everything, clarinet.
So my setup is a bit funky because I have some Grenadier legends for a few years now. That is my clarinet that I used to play the most, and A and B flat. But with this competition in Belgium, in Ghent, I won a set of wonderful Mopan clarinets. So now I'm alternating, like I'm playing both of them, Grenadier and Mopan, as I really like the two instruments. I think they're a bit different, so I don't use them for the same things. I'd say like sometimes the Mopan is a bit lighter, like a bit more rich in harmonics, but a bit lighter harmonics also sometimes. So if it's really classical or like chamber music, I like Mopan really much. This is like complete luxury. I realize, like, it sounds horrible.
Oh, but funny enough, let me cut you there. Sorry, we had a live with Gabor Varga, and he has also Mopan clarinet. And actually on Olivier Paté, like we had an interview with him, and they also said about that this is closer to the original clarinet, and that's
Yeah.
they are not the Grenadille clarinet. It sounds louder for orchestra, is better, but chamber music and the Mopin,
Yeah.
it's more.
I kind of feel like this. Yes, I kind of feel like this. Even though sometimes I bring my Mopin to the orchestra, and sometimes I play chamber music on the other one. Depends on the mood. Also depends on how good they're repaired at the moment. Because I go to Cyril Mercadier sometimes, but you know, like all of these things. So this is about the clarinets, and on that I play for now a few years now. Puccini Tosca from Koopmeier. I used to play a lot BD4 and B40. I'm a big B40 enjoyer. I feel like Koopmeier sometimes is a bit more balanced in a way that I can do easier more things, you know, like I feel Van Doren sometimes are like wonderful but for specific things, and the problem is that when you have like orchestra and chamber music and concertos and stuff, like you need something that can also do a little bit of everything. And so I found like a better balance with Puccini Tosca at the moment, even though I'm always like trying new things and stuff. And I have like this ligature, like the really fancy one from Van Doren, you know, the carbon one. I used to play also like a pink gold MO from Van Doren for a long time. Now I have this one because I like the freedom, but I have to say ligature I'm not super crazy about, as long as it works, you know, like most of the time it does the job pretty good. And reeds I play V12 3.5. Even though sometimes I play 56, because I always have like in my box a few types of reeds, like so always a few 56. I feel like 80% of the time I will play V12, but 56 it's good when the weather is a bit different, when I'm traveling or stuff, and I find nothing with the V12 because like it's closing or I don't know what, like, you know, when the weather makes that my reeds are shit, even though they are not so old or stuff like that, I try 56 and sometimes I can find my happiness in 56. And even for B40, B4 and stuff like that, I used to play a lot 56 as a backup reed. And I always like to have in my reed case like a lot of different ones. So then I play them every day, most of them every day. So I know about my reeds a little bit all the time. So which one is good and how is evolving and stuff. I keep a bit track of that. And sometimes a different cut can save your life if you really struggle with your reeds, even though it's not gonna be for a long time, because usually V12 comes back to be the one that I want to play. But yeah, 56 can help. And yeah, and recently I play also a set of Wurlitzer clarinet, German instruments, yeah. And
the old Wurlitzer, because everyone, that's the conversation with the German system. The Wurlitzers from the 70s and from like
new ones.
Okay.
New ones from Wurlitzer. But I put a lot of time to find instruments that I liked. I have to say, I still have to adapt a little bit with them. But yeah, but this is just a side hobby of mine. I like to play on the Germans and to discover that all the culture and stuff like that. So this is very nice.